Hello everyone, it's Orion, aka aka the Firefist guy, and today we have a bit of a different video. We're going to be doing a Firefist tier list. Shoutouts to Good Intentions for providing the template to me, because I am not gonna make a Twitter account for this. I am gonna keep historical relevance in mind for this, but I will be primarily basing this off of how good the cards are today. And I also will be considering other decks besides Firefists, how they use them, and on that note, tanking is going in as S tier. I don't think I need to explain this. Moving on. Anyways, there is an SS tier, there is an S tier. I am not gonna use the S tier. I don't think I will. At least I haven't scripted any of this, almost outside my head. But yeah, Tanky is been played in so many decks historically. It's yeah, I'm not surprised that it got limited now. We can only hope we get better Tanky only for Firefists, which could happen. Maybe not. Like, frankly, I don't particularly need it, but people want to play pure. Definitely do need it, because goddamn, this deck is dead without triple Tanky. Moving on from that, we are going to go in order here, I guess. We got Gorilla. Gorilla, historically, he was definitely a good card, but not a great card, never. And nowadays he is not run at all. I am kind of split between B and C. For now, we will put him in C tier. I might bring him up to B tier later. Next, we got Bear. Bear, nowadays, I would put him in B tier because, he is one of the ones you still run even in hyper combo, but you don't always need to use him in, at least in FTK. In regular hyper combo, it's not like you don't need to use him. Probably you could get around, but like, there is no reason not to use him in non-FTK hyper combo. So we're going to put him in A mostly for historic reasons. He was really good, and also I am biased towards 4-axis and +1 Firefist because it's my favorite deck of all time to play. Next we got I don't know which is which here. Let's see. I think I'm gonna check on the Pro. I think the first one is Boar and the second one is Caribou. Yeah. So these guys are both kind of interesting because they are not F tier. Neither of them is F tier. Because there is one build for each of them that plays them, or at least played them. Because Boar, so basically, right before Linkross got banned, like a month before, I found that Boar worked really well with Linkross because like you could go Shrug into Ferrijit. Shrug searches out the board, you summon it with Ferrijit, and then use Ferrijit to make Linkross, and you get the 2 tokens, and you got Horse Prince that way. So just for that reason, I cannot put him in F tier. However, is he as good as Gorilla? No, and outside of that little time frame window, he was never really that good. Like, he got played in Dragon Ruler format because he could make Crimson Blade, I think. But yeah, I don't feel comfortable putting him above on the same tier as Gorilla. But if Gorilla goes up, he might come up too. Next is Caribou. Caribou is also going in D tier. His main niche is Ties of the Brethren. You can summon him with Fire King Arvata, and you get Arvata's negate, and then you use him to pop. You pop Caribou with Arvata. So during the opponent's end phase, you summon Umber from the deck, which is always nice, or a dragon maybe. So yeah, these guys have an niche, but outside of their niche, they're pretty useless. Next, we got Buffalo. Buffalo goes in A tier. He went from worthless to one of the best Firefists, thanks to, well, you know, but we'll get to him later. Next up, Rhino. He sucks. There is absolutely no reason for you to run him in any Firefist build at all. He's terrible. Please. Next up, Dragon. Easy A tier. He's the only Firefist that even Hypercombo runs 3 of. He has been relevant in many builds through the years, although historically he wasn't that great, but he was an option. And obviously nowadays counts more, so yeah, he is really good. He's the main Firefist that lets you combo your nuts off, at least the main deck Firefist. Next we got Snake. Oh, Snake, like, if he didn't have the restriction of needing you to only control him on the field, I would put him in D tier. And maybe he would have been played somewhat. But as he stands, he is just not playable. Sorry. Just play Sun Mo. He's a much better 1800. Next we got Elephant. Elephant, I fucking hate this guy, but he's not that bad. I'm gonna put him in C tier because you are gonna run him in pure. Like there isn't really a reason not to run him in pure, at least pure mid range. Like a pretty cookie cutter pure build. If you're not going for like modernized 4 axis or modernized 3 axis, like if you're playing a bit everything, you're gonna play probably even 3 Elephant. But I mean, we wanted an extender, but it's not a good one. Basically, there is also no reason to run him in hyper combo builds. I'm glad that a lot of people see you don't want to run him outside with Char Brigades in the deck. But yeah, he's a bit of a beginner's trap. Speaking of Panda, kind of in the same boat, but like he's not as much as a beginner trap. But at least he does tell you that, hey, you should only play me in pure. But if you like, for some reason, play Elephant in a mid-range Tri-Brigade deck, which kind of sucks, but you know, some people do, you should probably run Panda, because like it's pretty free value at that point. You use him at the end of the combo and it's fine, I guess. And the protection is quite a good thing about him. Next we got, I think that's Coyote. I don't remember which effect has which. Oh, okay, yeah, he's the Cyber Dragon. Yeah, I can't really say anything really good about him, but I cannot put him in F tier. Like, I don't think any build has ever run him. There's better options, like there's Worst Kaiser, let me see, Kaiser Wars Raider, which is basically him but better. And there's really not much else to say. Like, he needs a fair formation to special summon him, and that's all. I'm gonna put him in after. Fuck him. Fuck you. Next we got Swallow. Swallow would be in D tier if it wasn't for the fact that Eagle doesn't let him use his effects for free for some reason. Let me check. Is it because from your hand or field? Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why he works like that, but that's just how it works. He has to send 3 regardless. Like, honestly, you could consider him in D tier because like there are combos where you could use him. You could argue for using him, but I'm just gonna say no to that. Next in the F tier, we got Wolf. Wolf is kind of interesting because I don't know if you even know what those are, but there's something I like to play, which is custom formats, where basically you play in a server where you can, like, there's some people that do R&D that decide a card pool, and you play with that card pool and that ban list that they decide to. And Wolf would be interesting in a custom format, which is not something I can say for the other guys in F2. So I do kind of have a soft spot for him, but I have not yet seen a custom format that actually uses him. And he has never been playing historically, and for good reason. He sucks. Like, if you want to play him, just go play Georgias 2014, please. Next, we got Leopard. Leopard is like yeah, historically he's been played quite a lot because of 3-axis, and even nowadays, like, he is not good, but he is playable because he's a starter in hyper combo, and if you play Spirit in pure, you could run Leopard. He's something basically. He's mainly in B tier because of his historical relevance, basically. Next, we got Hawk. Hawk, man, oh man. He's kind of in the same boat as Gorilla, but I don't feel he's quite as relevant as him. He's one of my favorite cards from the deck because, like, when you play 3-axis in a simulator online, you get all these flashy big numbers, and it's really cool. And yeah, it's cool. I don't know, he's nowhere near as exciting to play IRL as in online. But yeah, he's only been good in 3-axis list, and even then he's not a core part nearly as much as Gorilla was. So I'm gonna have to put him in D tier. Next, we got Raven. Raven, historically is not being great, but thanks to Lynx and Almirage, he has gotten a lot better, and he is really good in non-FTK hyper combo decks because you can summon him with Ash Blossom with Rescue Ferret's effect if you didn't open Tanky. So you have Fire Formation to send with Rooster, and you get a Bear Search. So you have all your pieces, no problem. Unfortunately, because if you have open Tanky, you can't do that. You need to still play the Red Resonator, but in non-FTK, a Red Resonator is a starter with level 4, so that's fine. Yeah, he's good in Modern Mills. He's also an absolute 3-off in pure. The deck would be unplayable without him. He's really good in that. Unfortunately, he's not good in FTK. But yeah, there's not much I can say. Next, we got Spirit. Spirit is in B tier entirely for historical reasons, because nowadays he sucks. You could play in mid-range builds. There was for a bit a build we played where we played Ram and Spirit and Karas, multiple Karases. And yeah, it was kind of a sort of modernized 3-axis build, but like really modernized. There is also a simpler modernized 3-axis build that uses Fractal as Foolish Burial, basically, and then you play like 3 Spirit, 3 Leopard, and 3 Ram. Ram is he's kind of an interesting case. He's kind of like Elephant, but a lot less generic, because like Elephant, yeah, I would agree that you should play 3 of him in pure even if he's not great. Ram is yikes. He's kind of a starter, but you need Fire Formation to use him as a starter, which like already accentuates the main problem with pure builds, that is you need a Fire Formation to play. So I cannot in good conscience put him in the same tier as Elephant, as much as I hate Elephant. I am gonna have to put him in the tier because like none of the builds he's good in are good builds. Honestly. 1 second. Next we got Rooster. Rooster, he was limited in the OCG at one point. Oh, I forgot to mention, Spirit was limited in the TCG because it would have been too good. Otherwise, it was a preemptive hit. But I think that's reason enough to consider him in B for historical purposes. Rooster was really good also in 3-axis builds. And he's also really good nowadays. So I am gonna put him in A tier. He's a staple in pretty much every single combo build. Pure builds is not as much of a staple, but you got space, so you're probably gonna play him. I have no idea why he's ultra rare in Master Duel. Well, a little bit of an idea, like maybe it's because he was a secret rare in real life. Come on, he's not. Oh, I mean, I put him in it here. Like considering what they usually put as URs, I don't know why they put him as UR in Master Duel. Next, we got Eland. Eland is bad. There's no beating around the bush here. Unless you're playing a Gale Dogger build, you're not gonna be summoning that often. Although in Pure, he is your one of your main negates. He's one of like your 3 in archetype negates. Like, yeah, he's really bad. Mainly because he's so hard to summon, not because of like his effect. His effects are nice. He can also double as a starter if you like. Yeah, there's the funny Gale Dogger combo that's like takes your whole hand, but like you summon Gale Dogger, send 2 Arclights to get advanced ritual art and Eland, and then you need something to discard of Eland to get a tanky, and then you do the tanky combo, except you need something else to discard of Cross. And then you also need something to... No, never mind. I think there might be something else to that. I'm not sure. It's a meme combo. Who cares? Next, we got Swan. Swan is he's interesting. His main drawback is being above level 5 because of Horseman's. Because like actually his effect is really nice if you're making a Stormwind's end board combo. End board. He's kind of the best Fire Fist to end on realistically because he is kind of everything in. And he's also really good in the control build, which is a meme. The Ties of the Brethren build, it's a meme, but it's something. Like it's the reason why Caribou is even in the tier and above F tier, so it's gotta count for something. So yeah, this one is not that bad honestly. Mainly because of how easy he is to summon. If you don't count him, we'll get to him. Peacock. Peacock is not good. Well, let's start with the positives. She's relatively easy to summon, and in FTK we are considering her partly because we want an extra fire level 2, partly because there may be some niche circumstances where linking Tiger King and Rooster off into Peacock might be beneficial because you can send the Peacock to the graveyard with Buffalo, although that hasn't come up yet. So for now, she is not in played in FTK builds, and in non-FTK builds, yeah, you play her because you can make her sometimes, but like her effect is so underpowered. I'm not sure why, honestly. Like maybe they needed to compensate for Eagle because Eagle is so fucking busted. Let's talk about Eagle for a bit. Like when I first saw the card, I was like, okay, so we get Dragon for free. Okay. It took me like a week for someone to tell me, yo, Tiger King has a floating effect. Oh shit. And yeah, the if it wasn't for Eagle, the deck would not be alive today. You could argue it's not, but by alive I mean just playable, not forgotten in the sense of time to say. And yeah, Eagle kind of single-handedly revived the archetype. Like he's far more important than any of the cards that we got of the new support. Like FTK, what does FTK play? He plays Eagle, he plays Roaster, Dragon, Buffalo, Bear, and Tiger King, and Horse Prince. And the only new card that plays is Dome. And not to say that Dome isn't important card part of the deck, but like yeah, Eagle is by far the most important card. And he was released in the OCG before the entire support wave. So he was pretty overpowered even then. Next up, we got Kieran. Straight up F tier. Fuck you. I have my only reasoning for him to be so underpowered is that they needed a rare slot in the deck. Because like you can't give me such a shitty tuner and then give me such a shitty synchro to go along with it. Like the only reason that Borwa got ever played historically is Crimson Blader. And the worst thing about Kieran is that 99% of the time you can make him, you can make Tiger King, which is straight up better in every single way. I have no idea what they were thinking with this. What were they thinking? As did once say a wise man, something like that. Next up, we got Horse Prince. Well, to be honest, I could consider putting him in B tier because of his restriction. However, pretty much the entirety of A tier is cards that FTK plays. Spoiler alert. Because like if you are played in the build that plays the least Fire Fists possible, you are probably pretty fucking good. And yeah, the fact that Horse Prince summons Rooster and can even summon Raven, which kind of comes up sometimes, from the deck is really good. And he was really good historically. Yeah, and he's still really good today. Unfortunately, his restriction does hinder the deck a bit. Fucking Lone Blossom and his plant shenanigans. Because you can't summon like DP or Swollen or Dark Simorg or Rapix Avian if you go with him. However, there are combos that don't actually use him. We mostly just use Ferret combos because they are a lot simpler and FTK, but non-FTK can play Fractal combos and Sumo combos instead of going into Ferret into Horseman's. You would have to dig them up from combos I brought a year ago, though. I am not going back to that, honestly. Next, we got Lion Emperor. Lion Emperor, I am undecided between C and D tier. Because, like, when Spirit was limited, he was important because you're a second Spirit. However, that's pretty much it. He's not great in Pure. There are better rank trees to make, like, well, in Pure not, but in non-Pure, the only rank tree I would consider is Mech-Whipped Engineer to protect your Stormwinds. Well, he's banned in the CCG now, but you got my point. Mech-Whipped got summoned sometimes in Fire Fists. But the interesting thing about him is mainly that he can add back Ash Blossom. And like, yeah, that is interesting, but at the end of the day, we can end on so many more negates, who cares? Next, we got Cardinal. Cardinal, I'm gonna put him in C tier. He was played historically in Firaxis, but kind of like Gorilla, he was not the most important card in the deck. Especially because He wasn't out in the first couple of builds, and the later couple of builds played Wolf Park as your main way to control rank 4s. So you didn't go into him too often. His effect is basically a nerfed the tiramisu, but he's alright. The main problem with him is that he's a bit too hard to summon to run him outside of pure builds, and even in pure builds, he's not too easy to summon. Like, he's relatively reasonably easy. You got Elephant and Tessu, but like yeah, he's not easy enough to summon basically. But I cannot put him in good faith above the cards in D tier because his effect is decently powerful. He also shuffles back tanky, which is really nice. Next, we got Tiger King. Oh boy. If there was a card that I will consider putting in S tier, it's Tiger King. Actually, no, yeah, I'm gonna put him in S tier simply because he has been played outside of Fire Fists in like Luna Light decks, especially Tri Brigade Lights nowadays. He's kind of alongside Evil the reason why the deck is has any sort of relevance nowadays. Well, and the Tri Brigades, obviously. But he does so much for the deck. He sets a fair formation. He has a really good going second effect if you can get to it. Like, they're pretty much forced to negate him. And more importantly, he can summon 2 guys from the deck with his on a non-once per turn effect, which is insane. And like, if there wasn't missing the timing rules, oh my god, like, this guy would break all hell loose. There's really not much else I can say. Like, he's also a starter, basically. Any card that can make him mix tanky, so he's a starter for FTK. He's the boss monster of the deck, in my opinion. Next, we're moving on to the fire formations that aren't tanky. I'm gonna have to check, but yeah, Sato. Ultimate fire formation Sato. Let me see. Banish 7 fire formation spell traps card from your graveyard. Special summon as many Fire Fist monsters as possible from the graveyard. Then you can set fire formation spell traps cards directly from your decks, except fire formation Sato, up to the number of monster specials summoned by this effect. Oh boy, it's flashy. That's all I can say about it. Like, realistically. Like, oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Like, you have to go through so many hoops to get to him. Like, how many formations are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Consider that 4 of these are new, so back then you only had the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7, sorry. So, does he need different names? No, okay. So you don't need to play the shitty ones. Okay, yeah, not much else to say. Oh, also, I forgot about Tiger King. He was played in Zodiac decks. I think that's reason enough to put him in S tier by itself, honestly. But yeah. Next, we got Kaio. Go into F tier. Yesterday night, someone defended Kaio because he is good in the Crooked Cook matchup. And I will have to say that yes, he is in fact good in the Crooked Cook matchup. Honestly, I would gladly take the L over running Kaio. Frankly. Moving on. Tenken. He is interesting. It's an interesting card. It basically turns It gives 5 grand protection to any of your guys, but only for the main phase. He's not played at all anymore. And historically it was never a rate card, so I'm gonna put him in the tier. Kinda like Hawk. You know, historically has been played somewhat, but never been great. Next up we got Tencent. Tencent is kinda like Tenkan, but better, because he has been played more. And you could honestly argue for playing him in pure versions or control versions nowadays. It's basically like a weaker Horn of the Phantom Beast, but it's searchable by Dragon, so it's very free. And since you can often search out 2 traps and then search out 3rd trap in the opponent's turn, it's a pretty reasonable inclusion in pure builds. Although even if he doesn't do much, he is a completely free resource. So although he could break you, it's a fine card. Sinto, God, it's not paid in FTK because you FTK. However, yeah, I'm gonna put him in 8 here because like giving protection to Dark Ruler no more and droplets is so important. Like, oh my god. Like, I don't care what they activate, just save the card for a droplets or a Dark Ruler. If they even play around that, because they probably don't know the deck and just blindly throw it out. That's such a lifesaver that it's so important that I can. It's kind of hard to not put him in 8 here, even if FTK doesn't play it, which in my opinion is the best build of the deck. Next we got Yoko. Yoko is kind of in a similar boat with Gorilla. I'm putting him in the same tier of Gorilla because while Gorilla was a little bit more relevant historically, Yoko is a little bit more relevant nowadays. Because historically, the deck used to be like tanky search as your Fire Fist monsters. But nowadays, it's your Fire Fist monsters search your formations. So Yoko is a lot better as a toolbox option nowadays than Gorilla. However, you could honestly put him in D tier. I wouldn't fight for him. Next, we got Fortress Young Peak. I'm gonna put him in C tier. Like, all of his effects are decent. None are good enough to justify it. However, he is pretty free and pure. You can use him multiple times per turn. Activate it. Like if you bounce it and you activate it again. It doesn't have the tanky restriction. He's kind of like Tessu, which is really good. And well, he used to be really good and is pretty good in pure. And yeah, what else can I say? It's a decent formation. You could run it, you could not. Speaking of, I forgot to mention that the main problem with Yoko and the main reason why it's the only spell card formation that I wouldn't main deck in pure Fire Fists is because you cannot activate it going first. It needs to target something unlike Yoko, which doesn't, which is really good. Historically, this card sucked, but nowadays it's actually pretty decent. To the point where in pure builds I would strongly consider running 2 copies of Yoko, not just one, which is more than I can say for most formations. It's not a great going second card, but it is a searchable going second card, and that's really important, I feel. So I'm gonna put it in C tier. Next we got Ingen. Ingen, God. Well, hypercom builds that run ferret don't run Ingen, usually, but it is free enough that you could run Ingen for having a follow-up play, now that tank is limited especially. Yeah, sure, whatever, I'm gonna put him in B tier, whatever. It's also really good in control builds, not that that matters much, but yeah, well, I'm gonna put him in B tier. Um, I feel like it's kind of a better fortress, basically. Next up, we got Dome. Dome is played in FTK, so he goes in B tier. In A tier, but like, yeah, this card is really good for the floating effect. The ritual effect doesn't come up much outside of pure, obviously. But I don't know if FTK would be as much of a thing as it is, or if it wasn't for this card. Non-FTK is actually fine without Dome, because you get access to all your bear, dragon, and buffalo all before you go into Tiger King. But non-FTK often doesn't, so you need the Dome to start the combos, where non-FTK usually uses Dome to continue the combos and to make a bigger board. And next and last card, we got Tessu. Kind of in the same boat as Dome. It is played in virtually every build. The only build that hasn't played him is like Fire Fist and Artifact Tractics, and even then it is an option. It's a really good card. Even though in hyper combo builds I would not run more than one copy, because you only need the one copy to normal summon dragon and occasionally little bear. But yeah, it's a really good card. So this was the Fire Fist tier list. If you have any major disagreements, like by more than one tier, feel free to argue with me in the comments. If you got a minor disagreement, feel free to comment so it boosts the video in the algorithm. Subscribe, join the Firefist Discord, like the video. Goodbye. This has been going on for I don't know how long. Goodbye.